Subclasses. All right. This section presents 4 colleges: dance, glamour, lore, and valor. Let's start with dance. So dance is a new one, right? Okay. Bards of the College of Dance know that the words of creation can't be contained within speech or even song. They are uttered by the movements of celestial bodies and flow through the motions of even the smallest creatures. To these bards, dance is art freed from the constraint of a single point in space and time. That is weird. It is meaning unconfined by narrow definitions of words and structures of grammar. That makes more sense. College of Dance practices a way of being in harmony with the ever-whirling cosmos, emphasizing agility, speed, and grace. Cool. Dazzling footwork. Oh boy. Practice of dance gives you the ability to gracefully dodge and make agile strikes. Okay. While you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield, you get the following benefits. Your base armor class equals 10 plus dex plus charisma. So you can be a non-armored bard. So, I'm first going to read agile strikes. When you expend the use of your bardic inspiration as part of an action, a bonus action, or a reaction, you can make one unarmed strike as a part of that action, bonus action, or reaction. You can use dexterity instead of strength for the attack rolls of your unarmed strikes. When you deal damage, you can deal bludgeoning damage equal to a roll of your bardic inspiration dice plus your dexterity modifier. This roll doesn't expend the die. Okay. Aha. Okay, so pretty much we're making you an unarmed bard. Okay. Okay, so I have thoughts. Of course I do. It's me. It's the whole point of the video. I have thoughts. So I don't know how much I've talked about this. I've always been very wary about defensive abilities when they come at later levels. And what I mean with that is like abilities that make your armor class be calculated based on a different formula, right? Like monk and barbarian have unarmored defense at level 1, right? Which means you can focus your starting build on it. One of the main reasons that, and I'm guilty of this by the way as well, I have it in my Elemental Master Warrior subclass as well. One of the things that I've always disliked is like when you get heavy armor at like level 3 or a different type of defense at level 3. Because if you get heavy armor at level 3 and you start at level 1, you actually have, in order to kind of play decently, you have to make your character have 14 dex, right? Because you're going to be playing with medium armor to then go into heavy armor, which is like why, for example, which one was it? There was, I think it's Artificer, where like with Armorer, I've always had a problem with that. I think Artificer gets it at 3 light. Like, I've always personally had a little bit of a problem with that, even though, again, I do it myself on my subclass, my Elemental Master subclass. This, however, I'm fine with, because technically, as a bard, you are going to start out with dex and light armor anyway, right? You're always going to, let's assume point buy for a second, and let's say that you're kind of min-maxing your stats. You're usually going to put a decent amount of stats into your dex anyway for your AC. So it's not that bad to switch it to this if you're already forced to kind of invest in your dex. There's very few bards that are really going to go, oh, I'm going to play a fucking full strength based bard. So I'm completely fine with this. I think this is okay. And then they make it like an unarmed strike bard. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look at the glossary in a minute if unarmed strike is still like involves grappling, because that makes this really interesting. It also depends on what they're doing with grappling now, because I think they reverted most of grappling again. I mean, you're making an unarmed bard, right? You're making a monk bard, pretty much. You can use dex instead of strength for the attack rolls of your unarmed strikes. I'm wondering if this would have been cool if you if you were able to do this with charisma. You can use charisma instead of strength for unarmed strikes. Because here you're I mean, to be fair, I think you're always going to invest in dex for this kind of a build. But yeah. Also, this only works if you're not wearing a shield, so you have to go dex charisma at that. And to be fair, are you ever not going dex charisma on a bard? I don't really think so. At max, you're going 14 dex, 16 charisma on a bard, especially depending on your if you're using Tasha's or whatever. I mean, this is good. I mean, this is okay. I think this is okay. You start out with a d6 damage. Also kind of makes up for the fact that you're getting rid of rapiers. So, yeah. Inspiring movement. When an enemy you can see ends its turn within 5 feet of an ally of yours who is within 60 feet of you, you can use your reaction and expend one of your bardic inspirations to move up to half your speed. Then roll your bardic inspiration die. The ally can move up to a number of feet equal to 5 times the number rolled. None of this feature's movement provokes opportunity attacks. Okay, so the fact that they specify that you can make an unarmed strike as part of expending a bardic inspiration as part of an action, bonus action, or reaction makes this pretty fucking good. Because that means you can use your reaction to get to the enemy, move the other one, and then pop and hit them in the face. So this is pretty decent. This gets you a thing of I can get them out of harm's way, I can get into harm's way and hit them. The only problem here is if you are playing, because I would assume if you're going for this kind of a bard, you're probably going to go the arcane spell lists to get shield. Because you can, even at level 1, you can, or level 3, I should say, you can get 16 dex, 16 charisma, get to 16 AC, which is higher than what you should be able to do at that level, quote unquote. But with shield, you can get to 21. Which is just insane. And you can wear Bracers of Defense to buff that even higher if you find them at some point. So you do give up the option to shield because usually your enemy's only going to move. Oh, we can see ends its turn within 5 feet, not moves within 5 feet. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I thought it was moves within. So it ends their turn. So they are going to attack that creature first. Then you get to move them away, move your ass in there. Punch them because you've used your bardic inspiration as a reaction. But that's only if your movement, usually your movement's gonna be 30-ish feet. So this is still not great because you're only gonna be moving 15 feet. Question is, how often are you going to be 15? To be fair, it doesn't say that you can't be within melee. If both of you are in melee, you just move someone else out of the way. Also, can move up to a number of feet. They don't have to move away. They can move away. So you can just use this to do the opportunity attack. I mean, I think it's fine. I don't think it's broken, but yeah. Leading evasion. When you're subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to only take half damage, take none if you succeed. Wait. Oh, you instead take no damage if you succeed, and you take only half damage if you fail. Cool. If any creatures within 5 feet, if you are making the same dex save, you can share this benefit with them for that save. So this is a fucking fireball counter, which is interesting. Can't use it if you're incapacitated. So this is this is multi-level evasion. instead of multi-level marketing, multi-level evasion. Which, that's, I mean, honestly, if you know you're going to be up against like mages and shit, or against a dragon, you just stand next to someone, like, hey, now we both don't take damage. This is great. This is pretty fucking good. I think evasion is usually a level 7 ability even, so getting that at 6, that's pretty good. Like this, I mean, the problem with like stuff like bardic damage and inspiring movement, the issue with that, sorry, the issue with that kind of stuff is like you're technically putting melee damage on a character that is going to use spells, but then again, you get these unarmed strikes for free whenever you use a bardic inspiration. So it doesn't matter as much because you bardic inspiration, you get to add a D whatever plus your dexterity modifier as possible damage. So, you know, technically this is still pretty good. It's just free damage that you're getting. So honestly, yeah, this is pretty good. It's pretty good. 10 in footwork. When you roll initiative, you can spend one of your bardic inspirations if you don't have to. If you don't have the incapacitated condition, my god. When you do so, roll your bardic inspiration die, choose a number of creatures within 60 feet of you, up to a number equal to your charisma modifier, and they all get a bonus to their initiative. Wait, when you roll initiative... Okay, important. This is a good ability, right? Because you're usually going to be pretty like close to everybody. Number equal to your charisma modifier, which means even at level 6, you're usually going to have like 18 charisma at this point usually. Although for this character, you might go for 16 and have like 18 dex because you want to punch people. But I would say the important thing that you have to think about here is that this does not use an action, bonus action, or reaction. Which means, if I read this right, it does not work with agile strikes. So you can't roll initiative, get that bonus onto everybody, and then punch someone. That doesn't work. Right? So I don't think it matters that much. You're just getting like 1 die of damage, and you'd have to be next to the target when initiative starts, right? Because it's an unarmed strike. But it is something that you have to take. But it is something, so it's not going to come up that often. So it's not that bad, but you know, it is something that you have to keep in mind. Irresistible Dance. Always have Otto's Irresistible Dance prepared. You can cast it without expending a spell slot. Once you cast a spell in this way, you can do so again until you finish a long rest. You can also restore your use of the feature by expending 4 uses of your inspiration. I'm sorry, how broken is Otto's Irresistible Dance? What level is this? Out of sheer curiosity. What level is Otto's Irresistible Dance? 6th. Choose 1 creature that you can see within range. Target begins a comic dance in place, shuffling, tapping its feet, and capering for the duration. Creatures there can be charmed or immune. Okay. I will say Otto's Irresistible Dance doesn't actually... The only way that you can get out of it is if you're immune to charm. Otherwise, you have to use an action to make a wisdom saving throw to regain control of yourself. And as long as you... And as long as you're affected by, you have disadvantage on dex saves, on attack rolls, and while the target is affected by the spells, other creatures have advantage on attack rolls against it. So pretty much, because they can only get out from underneath it if they specifically have This actually gets past legendary resistances, I think. Methinks. So it's not okay, so it's a better spell than I thought. For some weird reason I thought Irresistible Dance was like fucking level 2 or 3 or something. I still don't think you're using 4 uses of your, because hold on, you can only get back 1 Bardic Inspiration from Font of Inspiration. You can get all back. Well, to be fair, you can recast autos on a short rest. You can like short rests, and then you have your Bardic Inspirations again. But if you have no, you can give yourself 1 use once per turn. If you have no, yeah, so you can't like regain this through font except by short resting. However, the question that I'm wondering now, how is it noted? You can also restore your use of this feature by expending 4. So technically, what you can do is you can short rest, spend 4 Bardic Inspiration dice, get back the feature, and then short rest again, and then you just get back the feature, technically. Huh. So with like 2 short rests, you pretty much get this back and still have all your... Because they specifically say you can restore your use of the feature by doing this. And technically, like, even better than that, if you only take 1 short rest, you give up all 4 of your remaining Bardic Inspirations, and then you get like the Capstone ability at 18. You technically still get back 2, so you still have them. Okay, I mean, it's a good subclass. It's a decent subclass. I don't mind this. I think this is a decent subclass. I think this is going to be interesting. It's a different take, but honestly, it feels very monkish. And I'm pretty sure that they thought of doing this while making Monk. So, you know.